we're back. It's been a few months, guys.
Yep.
Hell fucking yeah. It's been a few months since we've done one of these. It's been just over a month since we did any sort of a live stream. And it's been a couple of months since we did anything like this, but about fucking time. About fucking time. Welcome back to the Red 5478 YouTube channel. I am, of course, Red. For some of you guys that are new to the channel, hi, this is how I look. Sorry to be disappointing you. All right, this is what you get. Sorry, I'm the voice behind the chaos you saw in the video this past weekend. And the guy to my left, probably your right, is Mr. Alan Nadeau III. Nadeau. I can never pronounce his name right, but I love him.
NATO.
Well, you know.
Meanwhile, I always want to say Nadu like Jerry Nadu.
Jerry Nadu, yeah.
See, one of these days I'm going to find out if we're related. One day.
And the guy to my right, your left, is a longtime fan of the channel and someone I consider a good friend at this point. Akbar fan. Good to have you back on the show.
Hello, and if you would be so kind as to quickly turn off the chat for a second so people could see.
Yeah. This is a new goddamn feature in there. You can actually show the comments in the video now from Streamlab or StreamYard, but that's, you know, we're in beta still with that, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, guys, so this is going to be the director's cut for a history of the college football playoff video that dropped this past weekend. By the way, thank you very much, all of you, for supporting it. Thank you just for being here to watch as well. This was a very long and arduous process to create, and I'm very happy that we finally get to do it. Now, the way this is going to kind of work is this. First off, I'm going to fix this. No, because it's been a couple of months. I'm going to try to get this working as best as we can, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do much better than this. So we are going to go through the video. We're doing the director's cut version. So how that works is pretty simple. We're just gonna, you know, talk about it. I'm gonna answer questions from these two bastards. I'm gonna answer questions from you guys, and hopefully we don't get this video copyright claimed again and taken down in Russia, even though it probably will. So there you go. And I'm going to actually start off by going through the chat because I know we had a couple of people hanging out in here earlier. There was one person by the name of TS who left this question. And I cannot believe this fucker's from England, but we got people watching in England. TS, I live in England, so I can't make it to stream, so I'll post the question here, Red. What was the hardest part when creating part 3 of the college national championship video? I really enjoyed it. Thank you, TS. This is going to be a bad answer, but literally all of it. The entire fucking thing was hard. I want to say the voiceover was definitely the most difficult part of doing it because I had to go back, I would record and then re-record, trim, splice, record again, and then I would be recording in different areas, so then the volume and the audio quality would be up and down and just no. But yeah, this is the director's cut, and I'm the director, and these two jagoffs were kind of a couple of quality testers that you got in the credits of the video. So there you go. One guy asked me when we'll be getting 12-team playoff video, whenever the 12-team playoffs end. That's how that works.
Which might be sooner rather than later, considering.
It would be funny if this 12-team thing lasts only 2 years.
Right? Like you went 10 years with the 4, but now you're only going to go for a dozen? Like, or for 2? What the fuck?
Well, because the Big Ten and the SEC want everything their way because they're the biggest conferences.
Yeah, because they got all the fucking money. I know.
Look, we got to go back to tradition. So,
yeah, Brandon Simmons asks, how exhausting was doing the series? Extremely mentally, mainly. So I'm going to actually start off by taking us back a little bit and telling a little story. So when we began this, when I began this channel in 2023, and the channel date says 2011. Before then, I was fucking around with it occasionally and posting a couple things. If you go to the oldest video, there's a video of me and my brother at the FC Cincinnati game in 2016. That's the first thing that's still on this channel from that time. When I started with the Pac-12, I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing. So I was just making rants, and people just kept tuning in to watch, and the base grew from there. So at the end of the 23 season, going into the playoffs, I knew I wanted to talk about the national championship history since we were ending the 14 playoffs. So I took a weekend and I just wrote the entire script. And for those of you that are captains on Patreon, I sent out a script to you guys. That's not even what it originally looked like. I literally had to go back and rewrite the whole thing over and over and over again. It was a lot shorter. It was a lot simpler, I thought. And then I began making part one of this, what turned out to become part one. And about halfway through making it, I realized, oh boy, I'm going to have to break this up into a few parts because the BCS was so chaotic. So then I made the BCS, and then as I was making the BCS, I'm like, oh boy, the 14 playoff by itself was 10 years. I'm going to need to make that. So I just left the BCS as a standalone, and then I decided I would go into the 14 playoff. Originally, that was supposed to be done 3 weeks after upload of the BCS. 15 months later, it finally came out.
Yeah, I have that same issue with the fan fiction I'm writing.
Oh yeah, you get real deep into it, and then you're stuck in there. Yeah. Uh-huh. Here's what happened. I was burned out at the end of the BCS video making process. That's why it took so long. If you go back and you look again at the upload schedule and the history on the channel, number one, infrequent. Sorry if you like that. I'm one man making this shit. Number two, I didn't go from making a video from, I think, end of January, late February until June last year. I just couldn't make anything. I worked on the playoff video script, but I couldn't do anything else. I was just burned out. And then finally, I kind of kicked it back into gear. We started making videos again in midsummer. Started back with the EA college football stuff. Then we got into the season, made a bunch of videos during the season. It was fun. Dropped the Oregon roast, the Notre Dame roast. As the Doak Burns was a lot of fun, and another chaotic handful to make because it's a weekly series. And then the chaos videos I would make at the end of each week. Basically, I didn't have time. And for those of you that don't know, I am a father of 2 kids as well. So that takes up more time. And then finally, at the end of the regular season, I said, okay, yes, we're going to finish as the Doak Burns, going to get this last video out for week 14, get the conference championship previews done, and then we're going to finish the fucking playoff video in time for the national championship. What could go wrong? A lot, actually. I had a major health incident at the beginning of January. Whoever's got a lot of background noise, could you actually mute your mic? I think it might be you.
Fuck, that's probably. Yeah, hold on. Where the fuck's the hell?
Shit. Me, unless you're hearing a fan.
I have a fan literally right next to me, and then the TV's on. So yeah. I do apologize. I was surprised it's coming through even with headphones on.
Electro cue the Bengals error card, yeah. So I'm gonna get a little serious here for a second. To this day, I don't know what happened, but I had a major health incident that required 3 days of hospitalization. They thought it was a heart attack. It wasn't. They thought it was a stroke. It wasn't. But basically, when that happened, I was pretty much out of commission for the rest of January. I made like maybe 3 videos, and I recovered. So when we got through January, finally, roughly mid-February, I had my wits together and I had my strength back, and most importantly, I was getting healthy. So I finally got back into it, and it took every bit of that time from mid-February till last weekend to finish it up. The video was finally finished on, I want to say, let's see, I uploaded it to Patreon on May 10th. It finally was done on Wednesday, May 7th. I think my computer's acting up a little bit. There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was finally done on May 7th, and it literally took it till then to finish it. From there, I made the announcement trailer a week before, so to kind of force myself to get it out by that point. Honestly, that's why the trailer existed, to force myself to finish it, which I did. And then it dropped on Saturday, and you guys have been resounding with your response to it. Critical acclaim everywhere. We're nearly to 3,500 subscribers, and it just, as we are talking live, it just cracked over 7,000 views.
So hopefully that algorithm keeps it rolling, which is how I found you in the first place when you uploaded that the Michigan cheating scandal video.
Yeah, like the fucking algorithm is a mysterious beast, I tell you what. One video, I was able to get the Nico video out in the meantime, and I was kind of like both. I needed to say something because that shit show was just a shit show. And then also I wanted to kind of get a little bit of rust knocked off from uploading and wake up the base a little bit so they know, hey, shit's coming. So there we go. That's the broad strokes of how it was made. Now we're going to open the video up, and we're going to play some of it, and we're going to talk as we go. Sometimes I'll have it muted. Sometimes I'll actually have audio on. This is both an attempt to keep this video monetized, because I know for a fact UMG will have my head after what I did with the one video, with the Ohio State video in 2014, if I don't, and also just to try and maintain some normalcy. So we'll kind of just start from here, right? And I'm actually going to I think this is fine, but I'm going to make a slight adjustment. Increase the window size. This is the only thing I really use the computer for still. There we go. All right, that's pretty good. Okay. So this is going to be you guys in the chat are going to be asking Q&A, and then I'm just going to be talking over the video most of the time, and we're going to just shoot the shit and talk about it. There's no real other format besides that, and yeah, that's pretty much about it. So to start, this portion of the video, this is like a year old already because of the using some of this film in the BCS video. I riffed this from YouTube with somebody that did like some behind the scenes footage of how they made the trophy back in like 16 or 17. So we got some questions already. Electro, any plans to make an As the Doug Burton style series for Hoodie's tenure at UNC? I'd call it Chapel Bill Abbey.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
well, so hold on. You're taking that from Urinating Tree when he did Saxonville Abbey, kind of, for Jacksonville the same year as Days of Our Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about doing something on UNC since Bill got hired, and I've also thought, well, as the Doak Burns kind of happened organically. It really wasn't until the third loss in a row when I made that fucking video, and it was only supposed to be a one-off. So I don't want to force it. So we'll just wait and see if any more drama happens. I know I'm going to have to talk about it at some point, but we'll wait and see there. Back to the video, though. Floby asks, got a question. Which year was the best year for the 14th playoff?
The best case scenario for that one would honestly be if like Belichick just left before even the season starts, and it's just like, okay, that's gonna be a simple video to make, because then you probably don't have much to talk about afterwards once you finish the video.
Yeah, you would think. And
that's the thing, right? Days of our Steelers was because of team drama. As the Doak Burns was because Florida State was garbage after going undefeated, losing their quarterback, and bitching about not making the top four to go to the college football playoff. UNC is just Belichick. Nobody cares about anything else besides Belichick, and really, it's more just about the girl. So,
well, don't think he's completely blameless from all this. He's the one that's still willing to date a girl that's 50 years younger than him.
Oh well, no, absolutely, I agree with you there. It's just like it's so weird because he was never. It doesn't feel like he was ever like this during his Patriots era. So
yeah, I mean that's honestly a This Week in College Football episode, which we're gonna get back to that series here soon. The weekly or bi-weekly thing. But anyway, we'll get closer to that as we get closer to the season. Now, back to the proper video here. Cynical, I think you've already asked this once. Floby also asked this question. I'm gonna and I showed Floby's question a moment ago. Which do I? No, this is a different question. Sorry. We're gonna be a little behind on the questions here, so just bear with me, guys. Floby asked, which year did I think was the best year of the 14 playoff era? I could be a biased sack of shit and say Ohio State in 2014 because but I won't. Alan is our resident Oregon Duck fan, by the way.
I'm sorry. You won because of Zeke. If you didn't even for what Cardell Jones did, if you didn't,
he was still green as grass. I know.
Zeke was the whole reason why you won, because we also know the Pac-12 isn't the greatest when it comes to blocking on defense. Not Big 12 bad, but still bad. But still not the best.
Before we forget on this one, under the video itself, it just showed Condoleezza Rice again. Why the freak was she there?
Okay, Condoleezza Rice.
Well,
let's figure out how to talk about this without getting too political.
For the life of me, remember. Hang on, let me pull this back over here. So I have a strict rule on this channel that I don't get political, which made this extremely hard to not talk about.
Well,
but
that
I had to
someone during COVID.
Myself.
Well, you couldn't really get around that at COVID.
That's another one. I'm not going to get into.
And then getting here, again, you kind of easily got around with this. You just show off former. What was her role again? Secretary of State.
She was a secretary of something. She was a White House cabinet member. I don't remember for the life of me what the requirements that she had that made the committee think it would be a great idea to include her. I know that it was composed of former athletes, athletic directors, presidents, and people deeply involved with athletics in NCAA. But I also know they included a couple of outsiders like journalists and other laymen from time to time. I don't know why the fuck they let her in. I don't think she had a negative effect on it, but I also think it's quite hilarious that they just randomly let her in there for no good reason other than, she's smart.
Well, remember when the Cleveland Browns were
that's
dog
it. Nothing
shit
against her. I just don't think this was her area.
Well, okay, hold on. Remember when the Cleveland Browns were dog
I
shit
think
in the mid-2010s?
I think honestly that hold on a second. I think honestly 23 was the best version. even though it was controversial as shit. The last one I think was the best version. Just to finally answer that question, because we were stuck there.
Yeah, because we had really good games there. We had Alabama versus Michigan that went down to overtime, and we had Texas versus Washington, which was a nail biter, which Washington almost blew it. And then the national championship game.
After that game too, it was fun.
That national title game wasn't too bad for a while. I mean, Washington was kind of keeping it competitive with Michigan, but then eventually Michigan just kind of pulls away. But still, that's better said than what was the previous year when freaking Georgia had TCU already running out of the stadium before the first quarter was even over.
Yeah,
that was awful.
Also, I'm looking it up.
23 was the best because of all the drama and the story around it was just incredible. All right.
I looked it up.
We're going to try to go. I know we got a lot to talk about, but man, I'm going to try to go to these questions as quickly as I can because there's a lot of people here watching. We've had up to 20 watching at one point. I do want to answer their questions.
Okay. Well, Wasteland Wanderer said, yeah, she was Secretary of State for Bush during his second term. And
thank you.
I'm reading this off Wikipedia. In October 2014, she revealed she watched at least 14 or 15 games every week on TV on Saturdays or recorded games on Sundays. Her term on the committee expired at the conclusion of the 2016 college. So she was barely there. She was only there for like 2 or 3 years doing this whole thing.
Yeah, Logan, I was going to mention that because I remember, because if you watch an old Urinating Tree Browns video, it gets mentioned something about them wanting to hire Condoleezza Rice for something. I don't know if it was head coach. I don't know if it was GM. Whatever the fucking case may be. That's the only
we're gonna get away from the
thing I know of for her.
We're gonna get away from the politicians.
I know. We're done with that.
You're okay. Sure. You're fine. You're fine.
For a while.
All right. So I'm gonna burn through a couple of questions here real quick. Who is my favorite Ohio State player of all time? AJ Hawk. Absolutely. Do I think Ohio State would have beaten TCU in 22 if they had beaten Georgia? I'm not sure. Maybe, but with Marvin Harrison Jr. getting injured during that game, probably not. Let's see what else. I
have a question. Why did Tostino stop?
Yukino Ellie reminded me of that. Helps. Thank you. What's up?
I have a question. Why did Tostino stop sponsoring the Fiesta Bowl? That was a match made in heaven.
Say it with me, kids. Money talks, bullshit walks, and the other sponsor paid more money. Yeah, that's why. I know I hate it too. Let's see here. A lot of people were reacting about this. Ethan, thanks for being here. I can't wait to be angry about the Badger video. Yeah, it's working. We're working on it.
Oh yeah, if it ain't Tostino's PlayStation, that's
All right. Do I think Braxton Miller and JT Barrett, if they weren't injured in the 2014, beat Alabama and Oregon in the college football playoff? Honestly, no. JT Barrett was a true freshman when he played that season, so he was still green as grass himself. Did not play that well against Virginia Tech. Kind of came to his own later in the season, but he didn't do anything else after they won the Natty in 14. So I hope so, Electro. I hope so. All right, so this is where we're going to kind of start to dig into the video and the meat of it a little bit here. I'm going to kind of go to this a little in regards to what I was doing. So I was really having fun with this segment right here because I've always loved the idea of breaking the fourth wall. Like, there's that fourth wall feeling because it makes in my opinion, it makes it more entertaining.
Yeah.
And then as we continued through it, I just was like, I'm going to pull out every fucking trick I know in the book, and I'm just going to shotgun blast all of the puns, all of the graphics, all of the bird noises that I can grab and throw it at this video and just make it as entertaining as possible. In my head, I'm thinking I need to have something happen every single minute that grabs the attention because this is a long video, and if I ramble too much, this is not going to be entertaining.
Yeah. I will say one soundbite that you need to have, and I'm gonna ask somebody
I still can't believe Johnny Manziel didn't work out either.
Yeah, But this is a soundbite that you need to have, and I'm gonna try to ask somebody for this from the Chisel
Okay.
Adonis Discord. Is Adonis saying, so whenever an interception for a pick six happens, he goes, "Can I get a pick six? Ba da ba ba ba." You know, the McDonald's theme. You need that, like legitimately. I'm gonna have to see if
Oh
I can get that
no.
from somebody.
Why the heck does Brian Cox do all the
Yep.
voiceovers for
Yep.
McDonald's now?
I did not want to go.
Red, you're going in and out, buddy.
Oh, that's not me.
I was just doing what I could. So, or this portion. What's up?
Jeez, technical difficulties.
Hold on a moment, guys.
We're not a little Spanish flea.
I'm gonna hook this fucker up directly to my internet because I keep on getting a little bit of lag and it's pissing me off.
Wish I had an Ethernet cable I could use, but yep.
Where is my? Where did it fucking go?
This is gonna make me try to do Twitch gaming.
Damn it!
Okay, I'm going to.
This is a train wreck.
Cynical.
There we go.
I have Scanners powers. Oh Lord, have you guys ever seen that movie? By the way, Scanners.
No.
Okay.
Red, have you seen Scanners?
Now that I got that shit fixed. No. Okay, so the fuck? Okay. I minimize you. Okay, we're just gonna keep that down. My computer's not able to handle it. All right. There was a time when UK had a natty in college football. Oh, I don't remember that. Hulkman, hey Red, love the content, knocked it out of the park. Oh, I have not. I have not.
Dang, y'all missing out on a good movie.
Yeah, it's okay. Can you guys hear me okay now?
I'm hearing you all right. Hopefully that's.
Okay, I'm going to refresh my page real quick. Be right back.
I'll be right back too. Alan, try to I don't know, do some stand up, make the audience laugh. I don't know.
What the fuck do you mean?
Okay, fix that.
Hi.
Bring this back in. This is a train wreck already. Did not take long at all. All right. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Comment section. Can you see me? Can you hear me? I'm looking pretty good on my end. You gotta tell me though.
I mean, I see you.
All right.
Your audio sounds weird. Cynical.
Real quick and just drop this guy into here. And there we go. Okay. All right. So I'm going to try to fuck around as little as possible the rest of the way. Alan, all right. You're looking a lot better now, too. I think I was just putting too much on my computer. Okay. So, the activity on issue 23 title. What do you think will come of the investigations? Probably nothing. Probably nothing. It's going to be a whole lot of them kissing their ass, and then eventually it's like, you suffered enough, even though they didn't suffer at all.
By the way, I do want to mention your imitation of college
That's what
higher up being pissy. That was kind of funny. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was going to be more of an annoying thing than funny, but I'm glad that people seem to have enjoyed
The
that.
voice is annoying, but it's funny to hear you do it.
Well, it's funny when I just do stupid voices as it is because I just go so fucking hard on them. like the Doofenshmirtz one. That's one that kind of came out of left field. I didn't think I was going to make a Phineas and Ferb reference ever in any of my videos because I'm not a big fan of the show. But the fact that I did kind of tells you that towards the end, I was like, okay, I gotta find more and more memes here. I don't want to use the same shit twice if I can
Yeah.
avoid it. I already used the Simpsons. Stop. He's already dead twice at one point in the video. I didn't want to keep doing that
Yeah.
because it's so fucking long.
Yeah. God,
Um.
this
Anyways,
2014 ad is a throwback. Golly.
oh my God, this is great. I when I found this, it was like instant, like holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Like,
Um,
it's crazy to think 2014 is over 10 years ago now. Like, what?
what? For reference, I graduated from high school in 13. I played college football the 2013 football season. So the first season of the playoffs, I was a freshman in college at Wilmington College playing Division III football. So that doesn't tell you anything. Actually, I don't think it was that. I think that might have been. Um, I think this. I can't remember because they all bleed into each other. But yeah, 2013 football season. I think that might have been the last BCS one. Actually, it was. It was definitely the last BCS season. So let me correct myself. I was playing offensive line. I was a blindside tackle for the Wilmington Quakers of the Ohio Athletic Conference. Played in 5 games, started one. Well, it went 0-10. We sucked.
Mhm.
Oh no, Daddy Chew.
Oh my God.
Oh, that should be a reaction. Oh,
So for
you need to
those of you
save that.
that
You need to save that
Yeah, I've
reaction.
seen that. I've seen that clip followed up by what the hell is even that?
Who are these?
why did I do that? Because it was funny as shit. That's why. For the sake of being funny. Not to mention, up until recently, Dumb Gamers had been the highest contributor of donations to the channel, and I think he still is. And his $10
Oh no.
donation, which by the way, thank you very much. I appreciate you doing that. Continues to improve the lead. But hey, gamers, if you want to have a perpetual lead, you need to join the Patreon. These captains are paying $10 a month to get extra behind the scenes shit, and they're gonna catch up to you in no time, Bucko. So it's not a challenge, though. You don't prefer the term poppy.
Dumb gamers, put on your They Live glasses. You can clearly see he's one of them.
Oh God. No, I don't sell my body, cynical. I don't. No, I'm not like that. I just sell my sanity. Thank you, Austin. So I just kind of want to actually take a second here and talk about this fucking team. This fucking team right here. This team has been the bane of my fucking existence for the last year. My God. Literally, if it wasn't for At the Dope Burns, I don't know what the fuck would have happened with the channel, but this fucking team is going to continue to drive me off the fucking wall. In terms of this video, though, they were fine. Jameis Winston did Jameis Winston shit. Yeah. Remember the crab legs incidents? That's a throwback on its own, too.
Well, there was that. There was the what was it? Autographing stuff because pre-NIL and selling it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Like Florida State.
Akbar is still here. He's just in and out with this video.
I will say this much, and this is aside from the top four. Going this far back and remembering all the teams that used to be relevant, that aren't relevant now, is blows my mind.
Yeah,
Also,
absolutely. Like the
High
fact
West
that
Virginia.
Mississippi State was #1 in the nation at one point in time during this particular season is
Shout out to Dak
insanity.
Prescott. Yep. The
Dak
Prescott
Prescott was the
effect.
quarterback. That's the only reason. Everything else that didn't matter. Which it's also
Josh,
crazy to think that he still has a job in the league. Like he's still playing. And it's been 10 years.
Well, Dak also yeah, because Tony Romo couldn't stop getting hurt. He got
Yeah.
hurt for the final time. Dak came in.
Damn.
So
That
I
season
have a
was so
so
that season was so beautiful until that freaking game against the Packers.
yeah. So a quick tangent. I have a coworker who's a Dallas Cowboys fan, and he wishes like Jerry Jones would sell, Dak didn't stay, all this other stuff. The thing I always bring up to him is this. When Dak and Zeke came into the league, Dallas had the best front five of an offensive line in the league. Period. End of discussion. Travis Frederick up the middle,
Okay.
Tyron Smith, the guards, tackle. That slowly, as that deteriorated, Zeke wasn't finding those holes that he used to. Pause if needed. And Dak is just Dak.
Um,
But
yeah. So let's kind of
Jason Witten's a
go
tight
to
end.
this situation here because I do want to talk now about
Oh,
the Big 12.
I remember this.
The
Okay.
fact
Quick
that
thing.
TCU is missed the playoffs as a Big 12 champion after being number 3 in the nation in the final week of the season blew so many minds back in 2014. It was like heresy because the BCS didn't operate like that at all. And the fact that TCU got left over because Ohio State beat the piss out of a decently good Wisconsin team just blew people away because Ohio State played a conference championship. Like
Yes,
that was the
Jason Witten was
main
with the
reason.
Cowboys, Logan.
Yes.
So the fact that this was even a thing that happened is insanity. And by the way, you have no idea how much fun I had making this portion of the video. Ohio, this whole montage that I'm not going to play audio for because UMG. This is the portion that got the video blocked in Russia. This right here is what got the
I
video
forget
blocked in Russia.
what the name of the song is and who does that.
I can't remember what the name of the song is either, but because of this song that I played in the background, it got blocked in Russia. Copyright and everywhere else, which it is what it is with the copyright.
Well,
But
Russia's blocked a bunch of my some of my where YouTube detects like the theme song for wrestlers that I post as
yeah,
shorts. Russia ends up blocking shit. It's like, what the fuck? Why?
I don't know. It's some sort of weird sanction Russia has on YouTube. I
Oh
think
my
I'm not going to
god,
get into why.
cynical.
I know, rookie. Nobody in Russia watches college football, but still, it's just kind of silly.
Look at Cynical's last comment.
Hang on. Oh, Jesus Christ, Cynical. Are you fucking kidding me? I thought we were going to go the whole stream without busting this out.
What the f was that?
Can we pause?
Thank you for your comments, Cynical. Appreciate it.
For 10 seconds. 10 seconds because we need to talk about this because we were good.
Okay. Okay. Talk about what exactly?
The whole TCU Baylor thing being the two dropping TCU from like 3 to 5 even after all that everything that happened with that one. I mean, we'll talk about it in a bit. I mean, we'll get to it eventually towards the end, but
yeah,
man,
I mean, dude, this is yeah. Yeah, I mean, dude, this whole fucking thing right here, this right here blew so many minds. It's ridiculous. But that's what happened. And I'm going to say this right now. This was the easiest part of the video to write because I so vividly remember the entire thing from start to finish, especially when I started digging into what happened with Baylor and TCU. Oh my God. Like this at the time was insanity. Now looking back on it, it kind of, we're used to, championship games meaning more. But my God, like this whole thing was just fucking bonkers. Now,
Speaking of
like I said,
which, again, this also comes back to this. Also will not only what happens to Ohio State this season, also turns around and comes back to bite in the comes back to play in the final 14 playoff. Again, we'll get to that in a few minutes, but we do keep a pin on those comments.
Yeah, literally, it's almost fucking poetic because a third-string quarterback made such a difference in the first 14, and it made a difference in the final 14 as well. And like you were right, we'll get to that.
Plus, one team getting dropped so far for like we'll get to them in a minute. But holy crap, when I saw those final rankings for the freaking last year, oh my gosh, I was stunned.
Yeah. The one thing that we kind of skipped over because we just kind of keep talking and shooting the shit and whatever. First off, my green screen is out of position. There we go. No. All right. Oh, it's better. Is the fact that a lot of people tend to forget that the Fiesta Bowl, we're going way back towards the start of the video when I had that flashback all the way back in time. The Fiesta Bowl literally should not even be amongst these teams if you think about it. And if it wasn't for Miami and Notre Dame playing a national title because they were both independent in the late 90s there would not be any interest in that game. So the fact that we have that even now is ridiculous. I just wanted to touch on that. This part was fun to write because I had a written script for this game. And then I remembered that I had made a little video series in the fall. So I took that, chucked it out, and said, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just make it As the Dog Burns prequel. And so that's what birthed this beautiful bitch.
Rookie has a good question. Rookie 17.
Oh, go ahead. Which college bowl game sponsor do I miss the most? Ooh.
Wait. Hold on. Oh, never mind.
Fuck. That's a great question.
I mean, I could say it. Tostino's probably.
I am going to. I don't know, man. The Capital One Bowl really made a lot of history in Orlando. I remember watching the Capital One Bowl in I think it was either 2010 or 2011. And
hold on.
No, let me finish my answer. Let me get my answer. Let me get my answer.
Ding.
Oh yeah.
Even the ref fell down.
Yeah.
I remember watching this game.
Play.
That killed me.
It take the moment of disaster for Florida State. That was the beginning of the end. I could just start a roast on Florida State at that moment and just go from there. I won't, not yet at least. You see a little more time. Jagnol, what's up? Good to see you here. You cried after that play, poor bastards. Not you, poor fucker. KV Novaneko. I loved the job at Vancouver for the Ohio State. The jab at Vancouver for the Ohio State win. Yes. I love it.
The Canucks.
Yeah, I remember the NHL riots for the Canucks losing in the Stanley Cup back in 10, 11, or 12. Yeah. Yeah, I took that little jab at them just because I could.
Yeah. They also rioted in the 90s too, which was the first time.
Oh yeah.
I predict a riot. I predict a riot.
Yep, and fun fact, they had a fun little time in Columbus after they won the Natty earlier this year. Not nearly as bad as what it was in 14, but still, yeah, it was great. Here's the thing, guys. Just because I'm college football only, I know other sports. I keep tabs on NHL, I keep tabs on NBA. Not much as I used to.
I've been paying attention to the NBA playoffs this year. Finally, the two final conference games. Series For crying out loud, it's going to be 4 teams that have never won a championship before. Technically, the Knicks have won one in the past, but this is kind of like that they win a championship pre-Super Bowl. Kind of like how the Browns have a few world championships and all that.
You hear that, kids? That's what parody sounds like.
Yes.
College football. Can you take a fucking hint? So,
No, they can't.
This game, by the way, Ohio State, Alabama. Let me give you my own personal experience with this game. This was like a religious episode, okay? Watching this game live was like a religious experience. I got lucky and had the night off from work because it was New Year's and I didn't want to work New Year's. I was working at a fucking KFC after dropping out of college. And I had this night off, so I was able to watch this game live right after the Rose Bowl. And my God, when Ohio State beat Arkansas in 2012 for the Sugar Bowl, that was, event that was then redacted and all that shit. That was almost like a religious experience because we had not beaten an SEC team in a bowl game in God knows how long. But watching us take down the dynasty, the beast incarnate Alabama, dude, like this was literally as if I was having some sort of an out of body experience because I was so glued to the TV for every fucking play. And then when Zeke made that break, that 85 yards through the heart of the South, yeah, what else can you say, man? Just euphoria. Euphoria was in my house. And when I was making this was honestly really fun because I got to go back and kind of almost relive some of those memories because watching I didn't remember all the details of this game because I was so stressed out during it. But watching that fucking catch again, I was like, holy fuck, this team was so good. Like a couple of guys keep talking about Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas was an absolute beast during this season.
Bro got ruined by injuries in New Orleans.
Beast. And it's a shame what happened to him in the pros, but man, this was a legendary performance. And it's kind of crazy to look at Alabama's team this year. Everybody was thinking that they were some, titan of the game. How many great players were on this team for Alabama? Like, it was a good team, don't get me wrong, but I don't even remember who the quarterback of Alabama was at this point. I don't think this was Derrick Henry's time yet either.
Well, Alabama quarterbacks don't usually matter because outside of Namath, they've never. Well, okay, outside of Namath, Hurts, but he was also.
There's the run. There's 85 yards through the heart of South right there. There's the legendary streak.
They've never really made it in the NFL, so.
Yeah. This was the night when Ohio South has lost again. I love that joke.
It was just like a total carousel when it comes to Alabama because it was just like every freaking year they were so good, but it's just like those quarterbacks were barely around for long. They were like maybe playing a season or two, and then they're already in the draft.
Yeah. And they weren't even that good. Like I think the last truly great Alabama quarterback, God, I kind of want to say AJ McCarron, to be honest with you. No, I mean Jalen Hurts and Tua definitely actually are better. So my mistake. Tua and Jalen were the last great quarterbacks.
Tua just sadly he cannot stay healthy and friggin' man the head injuries. Jesus.
Yeah. Again, thank you to Bull Muscle for sponsoring that video. He did not have to do that, but we worked out a deal, and I was happy to give him a shout out. And legitimately, his stuff does work, guys. Like if you need somebody to give you help with fitness or mental health or financial, he's not a therapist, so don't go to him thinking he's going to give you therapy. But he's a good guy to talk to. But he'll give you advice for most aspects of your life. And he's helped me out a fuck ton. He's not only been a good friend of mine for a few years, but I've legitimately lost nearly 50 pounds because of him. So check him out. He gives a free consultation. If it's for you, great. If it's not, no worries here. He actually was down in Miami for a fitness show earlier this week. I think he's back in Hawaii now, but I'm not. I don't remember. So, Bull, if you see this later, I don't know if you will or not. Thank you again. Appreciate you, buddy. And mahalo. Now we get to the national championship game here.
Highlight that comment. Highlight that
Um,
comment.
Alan, you may want to cover your eyes, says Electro.
Don't worry. Don't worry. At least
Hang on. Don't move. Don't move. Look at this. Look at this fucker. He is so happy to be here. He is just overjoyed to be here today as we
Thank God,
watch his Ducks
thank
just
God
get
you
hard.
didn't cover this year, because if you did, I would have just told you just play back what I sent you for the post game video that you did about Oregon Ohio
Yeah,
State last year.
Well, at
yeah.
least all of us. I mean, all of us suffer, but unfortunately, Red actually has to. I mean, he actually does get some enjoyment.
See, look at this. It's a close game, and then Zeke just ran us over. Like, Zeke is the only
Yeah.
reason you won.
I
Literally.
freaking
Agreed.
hate still that Zeke and Dak couldn't get a dang Super Bowl. They couldn't even freaking.
Agreed. I mean,
That's
the
so
fact of the
nuts.
matter is, if Cardale was starting to really get exposed during this game, he made many, many mistakes that kept the Ducks in it. But then they just went back to Zeke Elliott, and it was over from there. He just took off.
They do the
Um,
thing that NFL coaches don't do is when the run is working, they go away from it and then don't go back. In this game, Ohio State knew to stick with the run, and
they just
Billy,
out-muscled
Billy, I
Oregon.
don't even know what you're referring to.
Oregon was all flash and no strength in this team. They were like a blitzkrieg. You know what I mean? In World War II, when the Germans were invading, they were like blitzkrieg. They went fast. They went big. They dropped bombs. And don't be singing that crap in here. I know you're just joking around, but look, I don't want
I'm
the
singing
YouTube.
gibberish German.
I know, but man, I don't want I don't want to give the attention to the wrong YouTube bots.
Oh, Lord.
But yeah, no, Oregon was like a blitzkrieg, and then they overextended themselves. And when the physicality of the Ohio State offense went crashing into their defense, it was over. So like that is just another example of just the fucking Pac-12 side of things just being insane. Anyway, we're now finally on to the next season. 2014 and 2017 and
What do you mean? What do you
23
mean by?
were the longest parts of the video to make for this video.
What do you mean by
2014 took forever to get there because we had all of that build up with explanations and all this other shit. The fucking hold on. I have a small issue. Wait.
What do you mean by that question there, cynical?
Wait. I have.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man! No, I have hair. I have hair.
I shaved mine.
No.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Might have a fucking. Oh, you know what? This is why my power source isn't plugged in.
Dumbass.
Guys, Jesus. Sorry about that. I had my battery low on my laptop, and then I saw why. My laptop wasn't plugged into the charger. So show could have ended there right there, folks. Does anyone think Ohio State beats Alabama in 15 if they get past Michigan State?
Maybe.
No, I don't think so. Bama honestly was just too good this season. Akbar, your turn to look away because guess what happened?
Yeah,
You lost to Charlie Strong.
I barely was. Honestly, I don't even remember this. I barely remember most of Oklahoma seasons at the mid. I wasn't really watching college football as much then as I am nowadays. it was just kind of an on and off thing. I was busy doing other stuff. For in my house, considering I went to Wichita State University, we were more focused on the oh gosh, you've been permabanned. Now I'm getting
you're
flashbacks.
holding a reindeer. Why are you doing that?
Pause. Two things.
Oh.
Two things. One, that reminds me of the distraction they used in Super Troopers, where it's the dude with the bear humping costume, and then second.
Oh no.
And then second, in my house, I was going to Wichita State University. That was when they made the final. That was right around the same time they made that final. They made that Final Four run, and then they had that undefeated season. So, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. All right. Alan, if you got a lot of noise in the background, man, I'm gonna have to ask you to just mute up when you're not talking because it's getting pretty loud through here. I know you're
yeah. See the guy that I'm with right now. He's doing his own work. So
it's okay.
I apologize.
It's okay. All right. Anyway, so yeah, that was funny to see. I didn't remember that. I just saw that in there, and I'm like, why the fuck did anybody think that was a good idea? Like seriously, why the fuck would anybody think that's a good idea? Like, I was Christmas time.
I don't remember Oklahoma being the playoffs that year. That's the thing. Big Red Fro. I do not remember that at all. I remember the 3 straight years they made it to the semifinals and then just kept getting knocked out by SEC teams. If that doesn't drive a man to drink, I don't know what does.
So about this game, the Orange Bowl, I kind of
nope.
Hang on, I'm going to insert polls real quick. What was the worst game to edit? Honestly, yeah, the last game of the video was definitely the worst to edit because it was the very end, and I just wanted to get this over with. Oh, logical is rating. Logical raid, 2 tight ends, 12 beer kings. God fucking damn it. Shut up. Oh, Bolsey. I know we're about to hit 2,000 days. I know.
2,000 days of what? Well, what's that a reference to?
Since Ohio State beat Michigan.
Oh.
And the Logical's rating the chat with the boys.
There's Red Rubber Duck.
Red Rubber Duck wins there. Valor. That's good to see you guys. Thanks for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Oh, man. Crack a beer for that day. Yeah. This game, the Orange Bowl, I did not want to talk about you know who, and frankly, it's just because I know college-wise, I don't know if he was doing this shit then, but I just didn't want to give him any sort of.
This is like watching freaking old. This is like when talking about like OJ's football career.
Yeah, real. Like I don't really want to say his name, but I know how important he was. Logan, hey Red, do you think Deshaun Watson was good at Clemson? Yeah, he was a damn good quarterback at Clemson. Sure, I just didn't want to say his fucking name. Also, I saw my name in the credits. It's a G, not a Q. Okay, I'm sorry. Your name isn't able to be auto-corrected with my dictionary. It was the very end of the video.
Oh gosh, this one.
That was great.
Oh, Eric Andre, man, this guy's funny.
I fucking love using clips from the Eric Andre show. Like it's
reload. How the hell did that work? I still don't know how the hell they were able to pull this one off.
I don't know, man, but it was great. You got it, Doug. Thank you, buddy.
But what the wasn't this the Michigan State? Wasn't this the year that that Michigan game where they blocked the punt at the end or something?
Yep. It's the one where they blocked the punt against Michigan to win the game.
Anyone in the crowd have ice picks and steady hands? Leon Trotsky is angrily shaking his fist from beyond the grave.
No.
Hey, he got ice picked in the face.
Oh my God. It's hard to remember Michigan State being good because it was so fleeting. Like it was just for only a couple of years. Yeah. And then never again. They were out of the picture completely after that.
Yeah, they haven't been relevant since.
So this is where we're going to start to kind of run into some of the problems. Where is number 4? Logan, can you analyze what you mean there? This is
It
where
was
I kind of,
Oklahoma that
as I
got
was
knocked out
making the
by
video,
Clemson.
yeah, we kind of went through that already.
It was short. Same
The
thing with
this is where it kind of got a little tricky because I caught myself while I was voice recording. See, when you do these audio things, they God damn it, Vol, Neon Red Ski. What the fuck? This is this is dumb. This is just dumb. Okay, to finish my thought, as we were going through the as I was going through the process of voiceover, I realized I was starting to say a lot of the same shit for this game that I was saying in the last game, and then I was going to say for other games. And I realized this is a lot of content. You need to diversify your vocabulary as best as you can. So I had to rewrite some of the script mid voiceover so I would not sound so fucking repetitive. That was a tough part right there because you don't it's 3 hours, and if you're just saying, oh, anyways, this happened and but eventually this happened and but at the end of the day, no one's gonna give a fuck. You gotta say you can only describe something so many ways before you're just repeating. And yeah, that's that was really tough to get through. That particular portion was surprisingly tough because of that. Now, 2016, we're on to at this point, and that was actually a bit of a break for me. It was relatively easy to get through 16 because a lot of the shit,
oh no.
this, a lot of it was pretty self-explanatory. There was a lot of easy picks. Washington kind of made it obvious that they were going to be the choice. The only controversy was really in the Big Ten title game. And if I remember correctly, nope, it wasn't actually. No, I was wrong. Not the Big Ten title game. There really wasn't a whole lot of controversy for this season. It was kind of boring. So we kind of flew through this. What are the best five? What are the top 5 best years of college football since '90? 2007 is number 1. Far fucking none. I don't know about the other 5, but the other 4, but 2007 will never be topped. 23 is up there in my opinion as well. 2002 is up there. I want to say 98 because of the BCS chaos that happened is up there. And then it's hard for me to say after that. That's hard for me to say. When we get to the 22 championship game, are we going to talk about Kaylee Ringo's pick 6 to the house? Oh, yeah. I think we're going to get there. We're trying to talk about as much of the video as possible, but we keep on going in so many different directions. Like, we just shoot the shit and it's pretty loose.
I still
don't
can't
have a
believe
firm rule that we
how many years in a row was. I mean, like how many of it was like, what was it? Ohio State had beat Michigan 14 of the last 16. I mean, 15 years or something.
Yeah, it was like almost 10 in a row, and I completely forgot. In 16, we had this crap with the Big Ten title that made things a little bit more complicated. So forgive me, 16 wasn't easy to make. I kind of blended it together. Yeah, so this was a bit complicated because I honestly, okay. So when I dropped out of college, Division III doesn't give athletic scholarships, guys. So you got to grind it out. And Wilmington College is a private school. Nothing against them. I liked going there. But I had to work 2 jobs on campus while playing football to play football. So yeah, not great. I dropped out. I kind of fell out of football for like a couple of years. I didn't watch anything until I barely watched at all. Like I would watch a little bit here and there. I didn't really get fully back into it until after COVID, if I'm being completely honest. And that was just from the fact that I played football 13 years total. It was such a deep part of my life, and I had to completely detach myself from it in order to move on with my fucking life. So from this point forward, we're kind of in the middle of it's kind of the weeds for me, and I had to go back and relearn some of this shit because I followed it, but I didn't watch it religiously then either. So um, this season was just a wreck. It was a wreck for the Big Ten because of the chaos when it came to getting Ohio State in, and it was a wreck when it came to everything else that happened.
And this was the last year
and
for a while when the Pac-12 was represented in the playoff.
Yeah, this was the last time until 23 when the Pac-12 was in the playoff. And by the way, um, that on its own is kind of crazy to think about. I will say this up front, and I said this in my Patreon exclusive that I made, that which was a kind of a prequel to this video that I made for our paying members that got to watch this early. I made that, and then I kind of I said a little bit about what I was thinking at the time when it came to fuck, what was the question again? I just lost my train of thought. uh, I just completely lost my train of thought. Sorry. Playing football, I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to expand the playoffs sooner if the Pac-12 would have survived longer. Probably not. To be honest with you, it probably wouldn't have, because it was the Pac-12 died because of media rights issues. It didn't die because of making the playoffs or not, which it didn't help, but it definitely was rough on them because they just kept on losing. I mean, even still, like you look back, would you have picked a 2-loss Pac-12 team over a lot of 2-loss SEC or Big Ten or ACC teams? Probably not.
No. And also, based on that article I was telling you about, USC leaving probably also fucked over the Pac-12 as well. All things
Oh, it did
considered.
completely. When USC, UCLA took off from the Big Ten, that was the death knell. It's just we were waiting for them to patient to die. They pulled the plug, and we were just waiting at that point. I saw a remark about Lee Corso. I think game day's first week of the season, it's going to be his last one, and it's going to be in Columbus for Ohio State versus Texas. That's the biggest game of the year to start it. Yeah, they almost had a deal with Apple, and they couldn't get enough money to compete with the other schools. So it's just so unregulated right now. That's the problem. They need a CEO or a commissioner. Somebody said CEO. I think a commissioner of college football would be better. Somebody with like almost universal power to enforce decisions. But
Also, need to make sure that they have nothing.
get a bunch of conferences to agree to that and have fun trying.
Best case scenario, if you're going to get a commissioner, get someone from Europe. Get someone that's part of like the Champions League or the Premier League or something. They would be a neutral third party. They would be very neutral third party. They don't have any connections to any of the schools. They don't have any connections to the game itself, so.
I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Because look,
Alabama
we were
against
Clemson
2 was insane.
We were completely complaining about how biased the college football playoff committee is because of just like how of a couple of the folks were from, like the SEC and the Big Ten or something, like the deck was a little stacked in their favor.
Yeah. And when it came to this game, when it came to this game, guys, this wasn't exactly a hard game to write about.
I want you to suck it.
This wasn't a hard game to write about because it's low key one of the better national championship games ever played. Everyone talks about that last play kind of like in the same vein as when Vince Young made his run for the end zone in the 2006 Rose Bowl. But
the Bevo Christmas special.
Yeah. What was I gonna do here? I'll give the devil his due. Deshaun played great in this game. Alabama was an absolute unit. And as much complaining as we had about this game with these teams facing off for the second straight year and people bitching and moaning about parity, it was a great game. Katie, you made a pretty good point. This was a great game. And You know,
For the most part, we'll get to that
now.
one game.
Like we can bitch and moan about SEC bias and all that now, but I mean, you can't deny that this was a great game and it's one of the best ever played.
We have to. I should point out that fumble that we had a fumble a second ago. If Alabama had ran that to the house, that this whole game would have been over probably.
That would have been the end. That would have been the end, 100%. Alabama would have ran away with it again like they did the year prior. But they let Clemson hang around, and Clemson ended up, biting them in the neck over it.
Yeah, because they didn't that fumble. It looks like from the look of it, they got the fumble but got tackled and then couldn't take it to the end zone, so they had to settle for a field goal. If they had gotten 4 extra points, well, Clemson couldn't have been able to tie.
Yeah, it could have changed the entire complexion of not only the game but also college football history. There's Derrick Henry right there, just being an absolute fucking dog all the way to the end zone. Leroy Jenkins. The only way I can describe that. That was just him just full sending.
What was the line? At least I have chicken.
Yeah. What else was there here? I mean, so here's something I'm going to tell you guys. And some of you weren't here when we originally were making the video. When I was working on it, I about turned part 3 into a 2-parter because genuinely I was so burnt out. You could ask these two bozos. They heard me bitching and moaning for months about this fucking thing. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate you very much for saying that, man. Thank you. But I about dropped it here and said, fuck this. I'm going to just drop this, do a part 1 now, and then make a second part of the playoff and just walk away from it for another couple of months. And I decided against it. Sam, I see your comment. Did Tree reach out to you, or was it the other way around? I'm going to get into that here in a little bit because that's coming up here in a second. But yeah, I almost stopped making it at this point because I wasn't even halfway there. And I was dying. Like, I was struggling so hard. This was done in March. This part right here was finished in March. And then I took a break for a week, and then I just kept slowly grinding out portions of it. And eventually I had more video behind me than I had in front of me. So there you go. But yeah, this whole part this thing right here, I thought was going to be the end of part 1 when I originally made it. And then I just kept pushing myself forward, and it became the rest of the video, which I'm very happy about because it turned out extremely well. And it actually, that thinking that this was going to be the end of a first part led to probably one of the funniest things I made during this video, and that was the Deus Volt UCF thing. That was fucking hilarious, yeah. I thought. That right there, I thought was hilarious.
Deus Volt, Deus Volt, Deus Volt.
We are taking Jerusalem. Like, I don't know why I thought. I honestly don't know why I thought UCF Knights and fucking Crusade. Thank you. I don't know why I put the two together because Templars are not the same as these Knights, but fuck it, right? I just did, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, look.
So
if Alabama had scored that fumble, the game would have been tied up 35-35.
Exactly. We would have had overtime. Overtime. That was awful. Am I going to take a vacation this summer? I played 2 days of Grand Theft Auto 5 online, and then started working on Wisconsin. I'm on vacation. Because I'm so excited to be working on something new. You have no idea. I had so much fire to go start working on that. It was fantastic. I'm having a lot of fun working on the Wisconsin video. That should be out soon, much sooner than it took for this one to come out. Give me a couple weeks and I'll have it out. And there's UCF, man. Deus Volt indeed. And then this part right here just sums it all up. Like, this is where I really wanted to just get all kind of comedic and like, listen, motherfuckers, I know we got to talk about you, but can you let me get through this shit first so I can get to your bullshit?
Deus vote, Deus vote, Deus vote.
Hey, look, fuck you, right? Like, I just thought that was hilarious. I actually was inspired by that from a Jack Rackham video because he had that I literally took from Jack Rackham's video on Pope Innocent when they were talking about the knights outside of a Christian city when they invaded. That was the inspiration for that bit. So look up Jack Rackham and Pope Innocent. You'll see what I'm talking about. That's what inspired me to make that whole thing there. Let me take a look here and see. Was there any questions I missed during this? Renfro is still on commercials around here. Really? Shouldn't be that many ads. I mean, got to pay the bills with this if I'm monetizing, but like, shouldn't be that too many ads. I kept it on the minimum, but sorry.
No, wait, Renfro, Austin, are you talking about Hunter Renfro, who just got back?
Okay. Pause. We are going to talk about this. This is probably the one part of the video that everybody wants to talk about because it is just like this came completely out of left field.
Miami is trash. Nope, not falling for this again.
Days of our Steelers.
The fuck? I thought I fixed this.
By the bleach.
Wait a minute, where have I seen these dead memes before?
Dead memes.
I need to talk about the insert in a second.
Okay, guys, so time to tell the tale of how the hell I got UrinatingTree into this video. So here's how. I, at one point in time, was actually a moderator for Reddit's UrinatingTree subreddit. I also, by proxy, became a moderator for the official UrinatingTree Discord, and I'm still a part of both communities today. I'm not a mod anymore. That's for different reasons. But during that time, when you're moderating those communities, you get to talk to Tree. And we had a couple of conversations over the years. I was a moderator all the way back in 2019. Well, in 2023, right after as I was making this video, and we were working on the script, and I got to this part, a light bulb went off in my head, like, okay, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and it's not like I'm a complete stranger to Tree. Like, we're not. I wouldn't say that we're best friends. We're not, but we have had plenty of conversations over the years, and I would consider him now to be a good friend of mine. But I don't know his first name. He doesn't know my first name. I've never been to his house. I've never met him in person. He came through Cincinnati. I didn't give. I'm not going to say we're friends, but what we are is acquaintances through his channel and through moderating his channel. So in March of 2023, I shot him a message for the first time in like a year and a half, and asked him, hey, this is what I'm working on. It's going to be a big video about the college football playoffs. And you got to also remember, I was also, it wasn't a year and a half in this way. Let me correct myself. Once my YouTube channel started to kind of grow a little bit at the end of 2023, I began asking him questions like, hey, if you got a few minutes, can I ask you? I don't care what his real first name is, Rookie. I appreciate you saying that. I don't care what his real first name is. I reached out to him and I would say, hey, Tree, what would you think about this on my channel? Do you think this would be a good idea to do? Hey, is it too early for me to worry about merchandise? Do I click on these random emails from China for sponsorship ideas? How do you handle copyright? The answer there is you can't deal with copyright. You're fucked. And I had been taught, we've been having a correspondence for a couple of months while I was working on my YouTube channel and kind of trying to get it off the ground. I then asked him if he would be willing to make a cameo in the video when I got to the part about Pitt. Okay. Looks like Alan had to jump out,
Yeah, we've
so
lost
maybe he'll
Alan.
come back later. Maybe he won't. We'll see. Thanks for coming on, Alan. If this is the end.
This is the end.
Anyway, I reached out to Tree of March of last year, and he agrees to do it. Now, keep in mind, if you guys weren't around, you probably weren't. This channel had maybe 1,000 subscribers. Maybe. I don't even think we were there yet. Hang on. Let me see real quick how many subscribers I had at that point, because I know it was not anywhere near what we have now. I had just got okay. So we had just broken 1,000 subscribers when I reached out to Tree about doing a cameo for this video. Okay. He didn't hesitate. He just asked, "What do you need from me?" And I said, "I don't really know yet because I'm still writing it, but if you are willing to do something, this is the rough idea I had." I gave him the idea, which was he kind of sort of hacks the video, does some sort of a long-winded rant about Pitt, and then fucks off, which is really easy because it's minimal work for him, and he's a busy son of a bitch.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And he was down. He was like, "Hell yeah, that sounds great." We get through the rest of the year. I don't talk to him again about it because I had other shit going on. He has his own shit going on. Finally, in February, I reach back out to him and I say, "Hey, man, I'm finally making the video. It's finally getting done. I know I brought this up to you a year ago. Would you still be willing to do it? If you're not willing, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine." I said, "Hell yeah." And when a 600,000 subscriber YouTuber says, "Hell yeah, I'm going to help lift your channel up," like, right away, this is a huge fucking deal. So I told him, "Hey, this is what we're going to be doing. I'm doing the same scenario." And he's like, "Do you have a script for me?" I said, "No, I'm not going to give you a script. Say whatever the hell you want, as long as you want. Maybe 1 or 2 minutes minimum at most." And he said, "Got it." And he sent me that, and the rest is history. And he was so supportive. And I'm going to say this right now: Tree is a class act.
Totally.
He is so fucking giving with his time. He is so willing to help out smaller YouTubers with helping them up the chain, so to say, and giving them a boost.
Oh, he's talked to me once or twice over Twitter DMs when I was pointing out, like, "Holy shit, man, you use Ace Combat music? Fuck yeah!"
Yeah,
And he's just like saying, "Hey, that music's goated, man." I'm like,
yeah, he's just another guy. He's a great guy. He's so giving with the time. He's willing to answer any questions I've given him, and he even did a fucking cameo for me. Like that, honestly, I cannot thank him enough for doing that because he didn't have to do that. And
No.
I talked to Squid Tard Sports, and he's told me the same thing when he was doing his rounding up with Tree. I didn't do this with Tree. I kind of want to say to Squid Tard, I would have gotten Tree on my channel first if it wasn't for the fact that it took so fucking long to make the video. I was a little bit like, oh,
okay. What? Okay. Pause. Go back to that thing. Pause there after you got antivirus and all that stuff up.
Okay, got it.
Way too far ahead. But first, one thing.
Right, what about it?
Two things. I almost forgot this. One, I love the I forget what year it was when I think it was when the Steelers were going undefeated and all that stuff that one year for a while. But the whole the Yinzer keeps showing up in his videos or something. He's like, I tased a horse or something. I don't care if it was a police horse. Did you just commit a felony? And then just, hey, guess what, Jacob? How the hell did you make bail? I remember watching that video at the first.
I love his character.
as soon as the Yinzer went off, I was saying to myself in my own room, like right here, right in this exact spot, watching the video, going, "Hey, who let the Yinzer out of jail?" And then he immediately goes, "Who?" Says that like, So anyways, keep going for a second.
And by the way, the whole idea of him just doing his Yinzer impression, he suggested that. I didn't have that. I literally just expected him to show up and just say what he thought about Pitt during that season, maybe get a little wild, and then leave. And I would have thought that's perfectly fine. And he said, well, I mean, do you want me to do like my Yinzer yellow towel waving shit? I'm like, could you? That would be awesome, actually.
Oh man,
and that was his idea.
This would be awesome if we could get him onto one of these streams.
He's so damn busy. I wouldn't ask him unless unless I knew he had the time. And I'm not going to act like I can just put him on speed dial. But if you're listening, man, thank you again. This hopefully is going to help propel the channel to a stronger audience, more people in the Red Army, and help grow the channel, which I would love to have happen because this is something I'm really happy to be doing. And
once they start getting more videos out again, once they start getting a bit more frequent, then you should start to be having some. It should be going a bit easier. Okay. Now pause for a second. Pause. Right here.
Fine. We got to keep rolling along because this is a long video.
What the freak is? I'm curious. What is that about? Well, I burned a Pimente's sandwich as a warning. What is it?
That was just me taking a stab at Pittsburgh. That's all. That's all in good fun. That was just me taking a stab at Pittsburgh and just being like, all right, I burned a Pimente's sandwich as a warning to fuck off.
Is the Pimente like the cheesesteak for Philly?
Yeah.
Like the Pittsburgh equivalent of a Philly cheesesteak?
Yeah. A Pimente sandwich, do you know what that is?
No. The only sandwich I eat is a freaking turkey and provolone.
It's kind of like Primanti's is a chain in Pittsburgh of sandwich shops. They make hot sandwiches with famously stuffed with French fries and coleslaw. Randomly, about 2 years ago, I just randomly drove to Pittsburgh in an afternoon and just to fuck around, right? Who the hell, drive 4 hours to Pittsburgh, drive 4 hours back. It was pretty stupid, but I did. And when I was in Pittsburgh, I just said, "Oh, I'm here. I might as well try it." And I went and I tried Primanti's. It's all right. You got to be from there to really love it. I think they taste fine. I don't crave them now that I had one, but it's kind of like Cincinnati's Skyline Chili or Gold Star Chili. If you're from here, you either love it or you fucking hate it. And if you're not from here, you're probably gonna hate it, or you're gonna love it if you're drunk. So that's how that went. Now, we are going to really talk about 2017. This was the longest part of. No offense taken, Folsey. Everybody has their opinions. And I'm going to actually go ahead and put the beta back up for showing comments because I do want people to feel like their shit's getting on screen, even if I don't mention it. So
you talk for a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure, whatever. I can run the solo. So as we got through the rest of this video, and I say really the whole process of this video was I would make 30 to 45 minutes of it. I would then do an unlisted test upload to check to see if any countries are trying to block my shit. And then after I do the unlisted test upload, I would then show it to somebody to review the video, whether it be Illogical or Duck, Squidtard, Alan, Akbar, or Bull. And I would look for feedback, things that I should do differently, things I need to change, if there's too much of something, if there's not enough of something, yada, yada, yada. This was where this whole 2017 part right here, that was one segment that I had to do a test upload. to YouTube on by itself, nothing else with it, because it was so large and so in depth. So that is what it is there. Um, Anyways, like I said, guys, I'm answering any questions you guys have for the video. We did just get done talking about the UrinatingTree's involvement. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you just want to talk and you want to get your comment read immediately, you can donate a little bit. I'll show it on screen, the whole shebang. Anyway, so this was another segment right here in the video where I decided to not talk, and I just wanted to show the results of the game. Somebody said once, talk less, show more when it comes to making long form videos. So I kind of just let the story of the games play out here. Holy, when making a video, how many full games did I have to watch? Holy fuck. So, when I make videos involving having to go back and review a few of the few games, I will usually not watch an entire game from start to finish. What I will do instead is it's like a three-step process, because you can't go back and watch 30 hours of football footage and you're only going to use 3 of it in a video. So I would watch like long form extended highlights, like 30-minute highlights of the games. That way I could watch all of the hits without any of the lag, if it was there, which in this case, it was really easy to do because there's tons of 30-minute highlight clips out there that went over all of the important parts of the game that I needed to be aware of. When we were talking about the Bowl Coalition video, National Championship Series Part 1, that, on the other hand, I had to watch full games of, because there was not 30-minute instance or 30-minute drive-throughs of these games on YouTube when I made this video. So
we
like
were not
93 Sugar Bowl with Miami and Alabama, I had to watch that whole game.
Yeah.
The rest of them, majority, I was able to, find smaller ones, and then to supplement my knowledge on this, because I know for a fact that even with the 30-minute highlights, I'm not going to get the full story. I go back and I read the game summaries from ESPN or from the Associated Press or from a reputable news source, and then I will make it into my own words. Now, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I don't copy from Wikipedia, but the sources from Wikipedia are really goddamn important. That was the one thing they taught us in high school a lot was, Wikipedia should never be read and then copy and pasted. But the sources that Wikipedia cites in their articles are a gold mine. And that's where I'm able to go back and find a lot of shit that, a lot of people will find. People bitch and moan today about AI like they used to bitch and moan about Wikipedia. But Wikipedia is a good source to find more sources if your typical Google search doesn't pull up exactly what you're looking for. So there you go. Do I use Wikipedia? Yes, but I use the sources in Wikipedia as a supplement to what I'm saying. And I can promise you right now, you can go through my scripts. You're not going to find shit on Wikipedia or what I say, because I just take everything and put it into my own words.
Oh, you're not Black Flags Matters. Oh, no.
What?
Black Flags Matters. I don't know what has happened to him lately, but he was a very prominent NASCAR YouTuber a few years back. He was on the NASCAR Daily Downforce, the NASCAR Weekly podcast with friggin' Eric Eastap and Ice Titan or whatever his name is, those guys. But basically, people were calling him out that basically half of it, chunk of his videos, he was just quoting word for word from Wikipedia and all that stuff. And basically, he shut everything down.
You might as well just not even fucking try to make content at that point. If you're not going to be creative and turn something into your own, That's fucking dumb.
I don't mind the whole idea of like using Wikipedia as the reference itself if you're writing a script of what you're about to say. Like you're like if I was doing what he was doing when he's describing like races and all that stuff, I wouldn't mind using Wikipedia as like as a healthy guide if it's got some things. But then I'm just like gonna say what I'm gonna freaking like look at certain laps and then say with my own dang words of like what was going on there. Like one of his last videos he did that was actually pretty good was he was talking about the crazy the final, I mean, the fall Rockingham race of the 2001 season, which was like the day the underdogs were going to be winning. Like Kurt Busch in his rookie season after having a terrible year was like in the top 5. Joe Nemechek in the 33 car with freaking Alan Petrie Racing won, which was the last one that car ever got. Kenny Wallace driving for Steve Park in the one Pennzoil came in second or something. It was just like the points leaders like Jeff Gordon, all those guys were not even in contention except for like Dale Jarrett that day. It was just like absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it was. That's pretty crazy.
Look, I want to talk about that instead of talking about this fucking game.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, I was gonna say we're on the craziest goddamn road. Yeah, no, we're staying here because we're working through. This is called the director's cut for a reason. Okay, sorry. Suffer in silence, damn you.
This was the closest Oklahoma actually had the chance to win, too.
I know, man. I know. This was out of all the attempts Oklahoma has had in the playoffs so far, this was the closest you guys ever fucking got. And you still blew it. Sorry.
I know.
I'll tell you there. It just fucking sucks.
I hope Oklahoma has a decent year this year. I really do. I mean, if they miss the playoff again, it's fine. Just come on, freaking at least show you're actually improving again. I don't know what the previous year was. That was quite a fluke of they had the bad season, the first season after Lincoln left, and then the second year it's just like they go 10-2 and all that stuff. Hey, they have a good bounce back and all that stuff. It's just like, okay, maybe things are Venables has got this thing, and then just this year with the SEC and just
Someone asked a really good question about that. I do want to pull it back up. How the fuck? Going to kind of go back to the video here a little bit. Folsey asked, how the fuck did I find those games for part 1 and 2? YouTube. Like, despite the fact that YouTube is it's not a great search engine, but like to find game footage and shit, like it's the easiest way to find like old games. It's because there is so much shit that people have uploaded to YouTube over the years. It doesn't have everything. Like I still struggle to find really old college football footage, but the main source that I find videos of game footage is just going on to YouTube and then capturing the footage there to use for the video, because that is where majority of that shit can be found. ESPN doesn't have shit all the way back in 1992 on their website, but YouTube sure as shit does. ESPN still doesn't have 2002 BCS national championship footage on their website that I could just rip for what I need, but YouTube has the entire fucking game. So that's usually how I end up doing it, because that's the easiest way to find footage from older games. And speaking of games, I mean, this was just a fucking classic. Like Baker Mayfield was peak Baker in this game. He played extremely well. Georgia relied heavily on their rushing attack and played extremely well.
Yeah, it's because friggin' Lincoln Riley doesn't believe in friggin' defenses. And I can't fully blame him when you're playing the Big 12. Big 12 doesn't. Big 12 air raid style offense is just absolutely insane. It's just like, dude, like the defensive linemen and all that stuff have to be like 50 pounds lighter in that conference than compared to the other one, like the SEC or the Big 10, because of friggin' these guys have to move fast because of just how fast the game goes.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that a lot of people forget about when they look at those teams when they play in big time late season games, usually when there is a big primetime game happening, the more physical team is going to win. The stronger team is going to win, because all football games are decided in the trenches. Like we all want to watch and look at the running backs and the quarterbacks and the wideouts and the linebackers. the big boys on the offensive and defensive line is where it all begins. That's where the first hits always happen. And if you got a bigger and stronger offensive and defensive line than the other guy, you're going to win more games, bar none. It's as simple as that. Speed is good. Strength is better.
Katie has a good point. Lincoln Riley was a great offensive coordinator. The only problem was that freaking Bob Stoops never should have retired, but he did it because he loved Lincoln Riley. He was like one of the best coordinators he had in his opinion. It was like he was one of the best coordinators, but he didn't want but he knew like Lincoln was never going to stick around as long as he kept head coaching. That was the problem. If Bob Stoops stayed as coach, Lincoln was going to was going to leave Oklahoma. So then he thought, okay, let me retire and let Lincoln take over, and Oklahoma's still in good hands. I don't think Bob knew that friggin' Lincoln was going to piss off to USC because he was, especially after that. I think once that announcement came that Oklahoma was going to go to the SEC, I think Lincoln was quickly getting into talks with USC.
Yeah.
And then they turn around and join the Big Ten.
Yeah. As far as consistently as Georgia showed up in the finals, when was the last time a Georgia quarterback did anything in the NFL? Fuck if I know. I really don't know. Do I think college football will adopt the new NFL kickoff rules? I would personally, but We'll see. Depends on what the conferences want to do. All right. This game was pretty easy to write about just because it was the second SEC national championship game, the first of the playoff era. Yeah. This was real-time rage, and the fact that the game was good helped. The fact that there was also a bunch of rage at this being a game was even better.
Where were they playing this again? Atlanta?
They played this in Atlanta, so it was a de facto home game for the Bulldogs.
Wait, who did Alabama beat again? I forget. Who did they beat before?
I want to say Washington. Maybe. No. This was 2017. Clemson. They beat Clemson in the Sugar Bowl. That's where.
Oh yeah, that's right. Round 3.
Yeah. My bad. Yeah, round 3, and then they had to go play round 2 against Georgia. So, SEC national championships are annoying, but I feel they're more justified in the playoff era. Personally, I would agree. There was no justification for that in 2012 for the BCS. But still, I'm allergic to bullshit, and that was bullshit regardless. This was Nick Saban's legacy game because Kirby was the next king in waiting. Let's pump the brakes there, man. Zeb, YouTube is fantastic for finding old games in general. They're able to make a couple of scorebook templates based off the old Fox regional sports games as a result. You, Red, have one of those templates. I do, actually. Yeah, I do. Thank you very much for reminding me about that. Thank you again to Zep, by the way. That son of a bitch has sent me so many things that I can use for the videos. I've only been able to tap into a portion of them, so I'm really looking forward to diving deeper into it. But yeah, that's why you got to credit in the video. A couple of sound effects and some clips that he sent me. I was able to use for this, and they were very
helpful. Now this game specifically, I remember this game. I remember freaking Alabama, like Georgia had Alabama dead to rights on this one.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was crazy. That's a good point, Tyler. Yeah, if the playoff existed in 12, no one bitched about Alabama being in because Oklahoma State would have been in regardless. Absolutely. Brandon, we already talked about how Tree got involved in the video. You'll have to go back and watch that again later. I don't want to keep going back to the same thing over and over again. But to sum it up again, yeah. What?
Sum it up. You were moderating for him for a couple of years, and then that's how you guys made contact.
Talked. Yeah. Then that's how we talked, and then I went into more detail about 15 minutes ago. So you'll have to go back and take a look at that. But that's pretty much how that happened. We've been talking since a couple of for a few years. Thank you again, Seth. Appreciate you. So anyway, this game was kind of infuriating to watch back. And that is just bar fucking none. This game was a thrill to watch back. And again, despite the fact that it was an SEC national championship, it was a great game to watch back and watch how everything unfolded. Georgia had the game won, then they didn't, and then Alabama had the game won, but they couldn't seal it. And then finally, after getting a big sack on a Hail Mary toss to the end zone, they got it done. Like that is just such a fucking thing.
Just to quickly update for current scores, Panthers up 3-1 on the Canes, and you got the Timberwolves up on the Thunder before halftime. It is a pity we're not having an all-Canadian Stanley Cup. UrinatingTree would have been right.
So either way, I did not watch this game live. I remember watching some of it back afterwards in the highlights, and it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. Like Georgia had a chance to potentially win it here. They made the kick, and then Alabama was able to make the kick to send it to overtime. It was fucking nuts.
Oh, Lord. I think someone's about to be kicked.
If this is the director's cut, how come there isn't more OSU versus Michigan 21, 22, 23? Those the games were de facto quarterfinals. I think you know why, Folsey. I think you know why.
Well, at least you won another national title this morning. I can say for my Sooners.
Yeah, despite losing to Michigan. And that's kind of the fucked up thing. Ohio State diehards are kind of like still like, yeah, we won the national title. Imagine if we had beaten Michigan alongside with it. Would have been the perfect season.
All I know is that apparently this freaking bye week thing, that is having like the bye is not worth it apparently. So far, with the 12-team playoff. Oh, here we go. Dismal. Oh gosh, yeah, I remember this. I remember friggin' the friggin'.
So let's talk about UCF here. All right, Folsey, whatever. So this was the one video that was kind of going to be kind of like, okay, I might be grinding everything to a halt just because I need to talk about UCF.
It had to be said.
It had to be said because UCF officially in the record books is an NCAA recognized national champion. And because of that, I got to talk about it. And the story about UCF is just so fucking crazy. Like the Knights literally went undefeated. They did good the season before as well, so it's not like they just showed up, went 12-0, and that was the end. They did pretty good. And then they come out randomly, beat Auburn in the Peach Bowl, to which everybody then turned their heads like, what? And then the fucking Coley Matrix had to officially give them recognition for winning the national championship. And that is when they said, yeah, there may not be a trophy, but fuck it, we'll make rings. And they did.
And they deserved it. It would have been nice to have been able to see them try to play against.
I just think that this was the first real major protest by the mid-majors in this new era. Like, they bitched so much, and rightfully so, during the BCS because they were always, at first, they always got left out of the BCS bowl games. It wasn't until 4 or 5 years into the BCS when Mountain West Utah and Big East Pitt were able to make it to Big East wasn't really you got to keep Big East wasn't like mid-major; they were kind of a tweener. But like BCS Busters didn't really become a thing until like 2004, and they were just absolutely raising hell for those years because they were always kept out. They put the national championship separate from the actual hosting bowl game in 2008 because of what happened with the mid majors. Because they were always left out and they wanted to sit at the table, and the United States government's like, well, actually, yeah, this is kind of antitrust what you're pulling here. You need to knock it off. You're about to be a monopoly. So this was the first time UCF was firing any kind of shot at college football's playoff committee, saying, "Hey, you do know the little guys can play good football too, right? And we just took down one of the top teams in the nation in Auburn. What do you want me to say?" I know that there is people out there that absolutely will never say UCF was a national champion. My response to you is simple. Then the NCAA needs to fucking change the selectors and eliminate them. We should not have selectors for the college football playoff national championship. They don't fucking matter anymore. We shouldn't be talking about the Coley Matrix. We can have the AP and coaches polls. That's fine. Everything else that's still officially considered a selector on the NCAA books needs to be removed from any future consideration of national champions going forward. Because we're no longer in an era where it's being settled by polls and by data. Now it's being settled completely on the field with the playoff system. And the fact that this fucking Coley Matrix gave Oregon the national championship in their system for 2025 is kind of ridiculous because they always disagree with everything. So, just because, again, it's a BCS era system to have different selectors now. So, they shouldn't have a say anymore, in my opinion. But they still do because their NCAA is filled with geriatric old fucks that do not know how to deal. Oh, come on, right? If it weren't for the selectors, then how do we get our annual tradition of Notre Dame getting smoked by real teams come January?
Where's that? Where's that SEC short video of the? Oh,
okay,
no.
who's a fuck like Leon Trotsky into the fucking chat?
That's
Hold
my
on.
fault. That's
Congratulations, Comrade Red, on your video. I enjoyed it while I was in my Mexican villa. Now that I watch this Q&A in silence. Huh. I wonder why that guy has an ice cream.
Trotsky, get out of there. He's an NKVD agent.
Oh, God. I've been hijacked by communism.
Whatever the Soviet national anthem is.
So, something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a history nerd as well outside of college football, but I don't think I'm going to make a second channel called History 5478 where I absolutely dunk on Joseph Stalin for an hour. It's not that. I don't think that's a good idea.
I mean, hey, the Talker to History guys are a decent little channel.
I love like Alternate History Hub, who's also from Ohio. That's a great fucking YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, I love that guy. Or friggin' what are we talking about? Friggin' oversimplified. Oh yeah, you used an oversimplified clip. You used an oversimplified with Oklahoma getting their ass whooped by LSU.
This enraged their father, who punished them severely.
What was it? There was one line. There was one moment where it was like the what was that China episode? The one with the it was a Total War collab. Three Kingdoms, I think it was. But basically, it was the part where they were talking about like the ships on the water or something, and one of the guys just yells out, "We've been bamboozled," which I don't know why that line is funny to me. But
Oversimplified. Yeah, if you haven't watched Oversimplified, get out of your hole in the ground and go watch it because he's great. Anyway, We're moving on now to
antivirus activated.
I love how my version of antivirus is like an air defense missile system. Electro, after seeing that, dude, cool.
Oh gosh, my fellow subjects had to do. Wait, I'm not done with my finishing clump. Max, we're sending way too many people to the guillotine. To the guillotine.
Oh god! And then, by the way, I thought gamers, we already passed talking about Tree. We talked about Tree like 30 minutes ago. Sorry. we can talk about Tree for a second because I just made that we just saw that fucking funny ass clip with me blowing up the antivirus with missile software. It's okay, buddy. That's why I saved the videos to YouTube. Just go back and watch it later.
Is that
all
dumb,
right.
is that dumb gamers?
Money talks, bullshit walks. You're damn right, Brandon. Yeah. So anyway, this section of the video, I honestly thought Disney was going to take my ass down hard because the soundtrack during this clip is Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Sanctuary.
Yeah.
That movie's
specifically the one where the priest is singing about the gypsy that is tempting him.
Frollo. His name is Frollo, and the song's called Hellfire.
Hellfire. Man. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, my bad. I've seen it before, but I haven't seen it.
Here's the thing: if you remove the Jason Alexander and the Gargoyles, if you remove those guys, what much better movie? I think Disney should have just gone straight serious the whole time.
Yeah, they could have, but they also wanted to make sure they marketed to kids.
Of course.
It's a great film. Yeah, I mean, and also this just gave me an excuse to bring back the Nomine Patria Spiritus Sancti. Yeah,
goodbye, everyone. I'll remember you all in therapy. Why on earth is that so funny to me? Of the pie exploding, just why is? And Mr. Krabs and Squidward survived it. You've seen this before 11 times, actually. I still can't believe that's Clancy Brown. I still can't believe Mr. Krabs is Clancy Brown. The freaking Kurgan from Highlander, the chief of the guards, the captain of the guards in Shawshank Redemption, the voice of Lex Luthor in the DC animated universe and all that stuff is Mr. Krabs.
That's fucked up, man. But I mean, he's an extremely talented voice actor. So,
Clancy Brown, yeah, definitely.
Oh God, gamers, you poor bastard. He was Leon Trotsky, by the way. So he sent me $20 tonight. Never gonna beat those sugar daddy allegations. No fucking way. And then yeah. So anyway, we're now past that. Yeah. I honestly had a little bit of a struggle debating whether or not to put this clip and the one clip of Jordan Travis into the video when I originally made it. So I figured the best way to include it, since it's an important part of what happened with UCF and Florida State, was just to give a quick disclaimer at the bottom, just saying, hey, if you're squeamish, look away, whatever. And try not to put as much attention on that as possible. So.
Okay. Atlantis, great movie. Sucks that movie failed.
Atlantis is great. Treasure Island is great as well.
Treasure Planet.
I was one of the first films I saw in the theaters.
Oh, I saw that. I did my part and saw that one in theaters too. It cost so much.
Why do you feel the need to expand the playoffs to 12 teams? NCAA,
money.
Mr. Krabs.
Money. Hello, I like money. I wish I could do that impression better. I mean, I can do the mannerisms at least well. I can kind of make the certain way he says words. SpongeBob B-boy.
Oh, hey, Gabriel. Good to see you again.
I needed a voiceover break. You honestly, we're not missing. Again, we're not missing much by you not talking about this one. Oklahoma just fell apart.
Yeah,
Like,
I took a break from voiceover on this.
Getting beaten by Georgia, just kind of broke them. The fact that they couldn't win that one close, and then Alabama beats them in a better fashion, and then LSU just crushes them. Yeah, true. Hey, look. You might as well fill out have a whole bunch of different movie references on a bingo card because some of them are going to get brought up. Zep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Treasure Planet's I think it's one of the most criminally underrated movies of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's stick to this because we just missed the Alabama ass whooping of a generation. That was top notch by Clemson. Oh no, not this.
What else could you say about that one?
Oh, they turned him into a fucking Heisman.
What else can you freaking say about that Clemson Alabama game other than just Alabama just getting absolutely smoked? And 2019, not really much to talk about that season. Because let's see, who was undefeated? LSU. LSU, Ohio State, Clemson.
Yeah, we had LSU, Ohio State, Clemson, and I think it was Oklahoma again. Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, 3 teams were taking care of business.
Thank God for Clemson. Sure, we can say that.
Can we unmute this video towards the end of the Oklahoma game, Oklahoma LSU? Because again,
I'm trying to keep the copyright guys off my ass if I'm able.
I get it, but definitely just a part of just name dropping me, which I appreciate. Yeah, I did actually think about asking if I could actually have like a minute, like Tree does in this video. I was kind of thinking for a minute there of asking it like, hey, could I maybe talk for a minute, especially like Oklahoma, maybe the LSU game? And I'm just like, nah. What much do I have to say? I didn't even watch that game. I freaking didn't even watch that one, especially when
and by the way, this Big 12 championship, I would imagine there was a bunch of Oklahoma Sooner fans out there that were just absolutely going fucking like clenched ass the whole game. Like they could not move because it was rough. Oh wait, Ball, you gotta take shelter. What? I know there's some rough weather down in Tennessee tonight. Jesus Christ, be careful, dude.
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah, Baylor. I know. Like this was the most random thing. Like they disappeared and fell off the radar for a few years, and then reappeared back up just randomly in time to be, competitive in the Big 12 title game.
They fell off because of that scandal, right?
The scandal that I'm not going to talk about because, quite frankly, I steer clear of those subjects on this channel. There's a reason I haven't talked about Joe Paterno in Penn State, and I'm not going to.
Well, I mean, there's a decent way of quickly explaining it. Basically, Baylor was recruiting people that there were a lot of red flags about. Done.
Yeah.
That's how you could probably describe that in the most G-rated sense.
Pretty much. Ball, if you can hear this, man, stay safe. I know there's a lot of severe storms going on down south. If you're in the southern U.S., in southern Kentucky, Tennessee, like I know you guys have been getting whacked hard these last couple of days. My thoughts are with you. I hope you guys are safe. I hope that everybody around you is safe, and I hope that you are able to get through tonight no problem. The good news, there's going to be a break in the weather. We've had like 6 days in a row of just tornado action, I think it was. But yeah, it's it's insane like how many tornadoes there's been this last week. So we got some severe weather here near Cincinnati the other day, and it was storming all day up here too. But yeah, I hope you guys are safe. Anyway, this is the mauling in Atlanta that LSU put on Oklahoma. Akbar, I know you have feelings about this, so I'll try to spare you. But yeah, I mean, there was just no mercy shown by LSU to Oklahoma during this game. I could not. This was another situation where I just thought I could say a lot here, but I'm just going to show you guys just how bad the beatdown was because it was brutal.
And
The
there's
ass
really nothing to
whooping,
say.
the wood laying, the destruction, the beating was that they put on Boomer Sooner. Like, my God.
They punished him severely.
Yeah, they bent the Sooner over their fucking knee and beat the ever loving shit out of that ass. My God.
Oh, Russian Badger! I forgot you used him too. I love that guy
I
too.
love Russian Badger. He is so
What's
fucking
the blast zone of this?
unhinged.
What's the blast radius of this bitch? Yes. Boom.
Thank you, Logan.
Whoa. I played that game, Earth Defense Force 4.1. Oh, that's a great game.
I wanted to use more Russian Badger references, but I just have not been able to find like a good reason to.
And just to
So
clarify, if you're listening to this, if you're listening to the video at the same time, no, I did not black out under a car anywhere. I've still never drank a sip of alcohol in my life, unless you consider mouthwash, which I'm just like, well, yeah, it's been in my mouth, but I've never swallowed it. So I don't think that's considered drinking. So here we go. The final game before the world went to absolute dog crap.
Yeah. This was a fucking hard game. Okay, so full disclosure, I did not.
Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. It was
half of the
LSU
game
versus.
live.
No, wait. We're a game ahead. We're a game ahead. This is still semifinal. This ain't the final.
Yeah, this is the semifinal. This was the one that I unfortunately could have, and I did not. Look, don't give me any ideas, Folsey. Don't give me any ideas. You already pay good money on Patreon. Don't give me any ideas.
Oh God, my best friend is planning to do that Clockwork Orange thing to me, watching the Julia Roberts scene from Ocean's 12.
Yeah, no.
You remember that?
I remember watching. Go ahead.
Her freaking character, Julia Roberts plays Tess Ocean, and there's a little running gag throughout the movie before this happens of just like they keep mentioning like, hey, doesn't Tess look like Julia Roberts? You know, and then they actually have to have Tess be pretending to be Julia Roberts, which is just it's so cringeworthy. It is so cringe.
All right.
And it plays a major role.
Yeah.
They even dropped that in American Dad. I've watched every heist film ever. Yes, even Ocean's 12. Don't even get me started about Julia Roberts.
Anyway, speaking of cringe, this whole fucking scenario with Clemson was fucking cringe because, like, my God, I genuinely could not believe what I was seeing when Ohio State gave up that, roughing the passer penalty, which some people call it bullshit. I don't. It was a helmet hit, bang, bang play. They're going to throw the flag or they're not going to throw the flag. I was only able to watch about half of the game when I first watched it live. So I actually went back and I watched the extended cut of this game. I watched the hour-long version of it. Appreciate you saying that about the editing, Folsey. This was where I knew, okay, I'm going to have a lot of pain, and it's going to be so much more entertaining for everybody if I just show as much pain as possible. So I went all fucking out on the editing on this one. I got the flags in, I got the shattered glass, I got more sound effects. I really, really, really made it sound like when I was doing the voiceover that I was watching this game all over again and that I was livid. Like, I think one person commented, like, you can actually hear the anger in his voice because I'm still fucking angry about it. We should have lost. Damn it. Fuck. This was brutal. If Woody Hayes was alive today, he'd come out of the fucking ground and punch another fucking Clemson player in the face after this performance because, my God. Oh. This whole game. Like, it wasn't just like there was no, like, Ohio State just played bad. Ohio State played great, just they got a bunch of rough calls. That, like, fumble, that scoop and score fumble that was overturned, that could have stood and it didn't. Could have been a game changer in the game, and then they go and throw that fucking interception. And I kind of had a feeling that this game was over. But the worst part is they gave me hope with this touchdown catch.
Oh gosh,
Oh God, I'm reliving these memories again. Fuck me. That was already not a good day for me personally. Outside of this football game happening, I was a pretty bad day for me, personally. And this was without a doubt the shit cherry on top of the shit flavored sundae. And then when Fields marched it all the way down the field at the end, and they could not get into the end zone. As a matter of fact, they threw that interception. That scream from the Michigan game was that they used in the Michigan game for Chaos Week 14 last season. That was just, I had to use that again because it's really the only way to describe it. That your editing is great. Sorry you had to go back and painfully dive into the Ohio State crumbly. Yeah, well, it's part of the gig. And as far as I'm aware, a lot of you guys watch this shit to watch me, experience pain because it's entertaining or some shit. Huh? I don't fucking know. And then this is the one. This is the. Hold on a second here.
Second, picked off by Nolan Turner, and the Tigers are not going to be dethroned tonight.
Holy shit, dude. I have never seen a more insane collapse from Ohio State than this. A game that Ohio State controlled and promptly handed back to Clemson because you kept kicking yourselves in the dick. It's a miracle I still had a working liver after watching this fucking game.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the end of recording. That was the end of the recording for that night. That was the end of that recording session. I was done. I was sweating at the end of doing the voiceover for that game because of how hard I went. And at the end of it, I was like, I'm done. I'm calling it a night. Like, they're legitimately, like, when you do voiceover for these videos, sometimes I just start sweating because of how into it I am. I'm trying to just vocalize and verbalize what I'm trying to say. Like, even now, like, I'm getting a little sweaty because I'm trying to just bring that passion, bring that emotion that I'm trying to convey to the viewer through the video into what is being shown on screen. And it is just, it's a workout almost. It gets pretty intense. I usually do the voiceovers when I'm completely alone because otherwise I sound like I'm, to the outsider, I sound like I'm fucking insane. If you're outside of the bedroom door and you hear me just like suddenly go, like you're you're gonna wonder, okay, did he just like chop his fucking hand off or something? Like, what the fuck's going on? Oh.
Oh, Fazley says, yeah, that has been a thing for years. I mean, look at people like the Nostalgia Critic, the Angry Video Game Nerd, and folks like them when they were talking about reviews. People love to see like these people like love the misery aspect. They love to see like, oh, people are suffering watching these movies, playing these games, and just like, or you see that in TV shows where it's just like nothing ever good happens for like look at like nothing ever went right for the Bundy family and Married with Children, and people love that shit. or Always Sunny. Like nothing ever goes the gang's way, but then again, they kind of deserve it. They're all horrible people.
Yeah.
Look what they
Yeah.
did to cricket for starters.
Does anybody else remember when they saw like this game? Like I remember watching this game live. I think I watched it live. I did watch it live. I remember watching it thinking, that's our future Bengal quarterback right there, Joseph R. Burrow. And what do you know? He ended up becoming a great quarterback for Cincinnati. Here's the thing. I didn't realize until like 2 days later that Odell Beckham Jr. got into the locker room and started smoking cigars with the players and throwing money everywhere. That is crazy.
But he went
Unrelated
to
to the college
LSU,
football
right?
playoff video, but related to the previous two parts, what's your favorite Keith Jackson call? Personal favorite was his call when Ohio State won the national championship in 2002, 2003, I should say. Honest to God, favorite moment he ever did was the Vince Young touchdown in the Rose Bowl. Bar none. That's the capper right there, in my opinion. Now, I am going to be able to, with glee, continue to watch more Keith Jackson commentary on future videos for future projects. I might actually just do a video about Keith Jackson, honestly. Not even like a roast, like a serious video on Keith Jackson. But like, because I don't want to always just be the one guy that's always roasting
Burrow looks so
everybody
fucking
because
badass
everybody's a
there.
target.
And okay.
Um,
Burrow looked awesome there. I mean, he looked like a badass. He looked like he would fit in perfectly in a John Wick movie. And now,
uh,
now we
and
have
now we
hell.
go into the very bad times. Um, Akbar, how did COVID affect you?
Honestly, it just it wasn't too. It honestly surprisingly wasn't that different for me. And I just had to stop going to the university. I had to finish all my classes online, but it was my last semester. We didn't do I didn't do graduation, but part of me was never even going to go in the first place, because I kind of like sticking to myself and all that stuff. And now that I think about it, I don't think I've caught all these years. I still don't think I've caught COVID, or I might have caught it and it was just very mild or something.
You're breaking up a lot, dude. You might want to check your internet connection. You're breaking in and out a lot.
I'm sorry. Okay, just tell me when I'm starting to get better. When I'm starting to get better. Am I getting better?
You're still pretty broken up. Work on your internet for a minute.
All right, hang on.
I'm going to say a little bit about what my COVID experience was. Uh, I was working in my office job, and the day after the Jazz Thunder incident happened, when I went into work, it literally slowly, as the day went on, it kind of just became more and more obvious that this was like really serious and that we all should probably not be in an office building together right now. So what ended up happening was, I'm not going to name the company because I still work there for my real job, but we all were told, take your computers, sign this waiver, and go home and set up at home and try to log in
Hey guys. Yeah. So I'm not sure what happened. I hope you can read me. I'm on my phone right now because StreamYard on my computer has completely crashed. Um Not sure why. Don't know how. It makes no goddamn sense. So I'm currently working on getting it booted back up. Uh But yeah, I'm a little bit upset about that. There's not a whole lot I can do here. Akbar, uh, I genuinely don't know what happened.
It happens. I mean, it's nothing's perfect. I don't know how like these. I mean, even the big streamers have their problems. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is yeah, like this stream was a really important stream. Like Larson saying, and it's frustrating as fuck. But we're this is a low budget operation, and you get what you pay for. I don't. It's definitely not an internet issue. I'm still connected to the internet, as you can see on my cell phone. So, like, I don't understand how that was allowed to happen. I don't know why it happened. I'm trying to get it working on my computer again, and if I don't, I think we're just gonna wind up trashing this and calling it a night because I don't. Oh, okay. I'm pissed off about that, believe it or not. Fuck.
It happens. It happens. I mean, we can do a makeup stream next week or something. Just start. I mean, because stop it.
I don't want
Right.
to start over though. That's the
No,
thing.
no, no. Start from from LSU winning, and then COVID. That would be perfect.
Yeah, we could probably do that.
That would
Yeah,
be perfect.
StreamYard's down. It's down. Okay. We're just down. So all right, guys. Well, shit. um the old saying in you know, something like this, the best laid plans of mice and men tend to go awry.
Tell me about the rabbits, George.
Yeah. So
Gotta fucking cry with this
I'll
story.
answer a few more questions, but I think we're gonna wind up calling it here because this was my StreamYard is completely fucking broken and I can't get my computer. It's working on my phone. It's not working on the computer, and I don't understand why. Because the internet is working. But I'll answer a few more questions and then we'll handle it for the night. But let me take a look here real quick. Yeah, sure. I'll finish the COVID story. So, during my story during COVID was pretty simple. The office that I worked at, um, we went into work the day after the incident happened with the Thunder and Jazz, the Ruby Gobert shit, and during the day while shit was kind of slowly closing, so the NBA had shut down the night before. Then March Madness was suspended. Then then the MLB suspended spring training, and all this happened over the course of a couple of days. And eventually, within like 2 days, I think it was either the day after that or 3 days after that, once March Madness got canceled and some other notable events were getting canceled, that's when I kind of realized that it's probably not safe to be here. So the office I worked at made us sign waivers, and we took our computers home and we worked from home until June. And then we were brought back into the offices from that point because they figured out a social distancing plan. So that's that. All right, guys. So clearly at this point, we're not able to continue the Q&A. It's been 2.5 hours anyway. We've been going for quite a bit. So I think we're going to pause here for tonight, and we'll continue the Q&A at a later date. Once I figure out what the fuck happened with StreamYard.
All I know is I had issues with PayPal. I'm having issues with PayPal yesterday. I keep getting blocked from trying to log in on my browser. But I can do it on my phone with these. I don't know what the frick going on with that.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know either. So we're gonna go ahead and call it tonight. I think Tyler, to answer your question, this will be the last one I answer. Which team was screwed over the worst during the 14 playoff era? That's a tough question. That's a very good question. I really don't know. I want to say Texas Tech potentially because of the COVID season and the way things just worked out for them. Potentially them. TCU's got a pretty good case of saying they got screwed over in 2014. So I think one of those two would be a great candidate for that. But I don't know. Yeah, stream crashed right before we got to the COVID and the rest of the video. I know. I'm sorry, but we're not going to continue like this if I can't get the video looking. If I can't operate it the way I need to operate it. So I'm going to figure out what happened here. Make sure it doesn't happen again. And then we'll circle up again later this week. So I do want to say thank you to Alan for joining us earlier in the stream. That was a lot of fun having him back. Akbar, as always, it's good to have you on here, buddy. It's nice yin to my yang. And thank you again, guys. Thank you for the donations as well, Dumb Gamers and Katie Nova Neko, thank you for the donations. I appreciate you guys. Sorry, Dumb Gamers, Katie, and Leon Trotsky, thank you for the donations. And then I will let you guys know when the makeup date is so we can come back and finish the Q&A. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. Ending it a little earlier than I wanted, but it's fine. So. All right, I'm going to go play IT technician to figure out what the fuck happened here. I will see you guys later. I'll give you updates on the next video within about the next week or two. Thank you very much.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
I did.
Have you tried sticking it up your
It's
ass?
still not working. So thank you guys so much. Have a good evening. I'll see you soon. Take care.
All right. Night.